Insta people, hello, welcome to another one of my Saturday chats with my alumni. And today we've got Hayley Hanson, who did my teacher training a couple of years ago and is now, oh, hello, you've joined, so I can invite you now. I'm going to try and invite her. Yes, she's asking me, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to be asking her about what she does now, which is Feldenkrais, which I don't know how to say, so hopefully she's going to enlighten me. Hello there!
Hello, I was really scared then. I thought it was not going to work. I'd forgotten how to do it, and I went all
I forget every single time, and now I realise I don't even know how to say Feldenkrais.
Feldenkrais.
It's not.
Yeah, Feldenkrais.
No, you're joking.
No.
Okay, so I've been saying it wrong for ages. It's good job you're here because I've been calling it Feldenkrais. Anyway, I was just saying that, yeah, so you did your yoga teacher training a couple of years ago, and now you're working with this method. Say it again.
This Feldenkrais method.
And yeah, I mean, it's coming up quite a lot lately in my life, especially with my fascia work, my anatomy trains, and my fascia release work. And obviously, being a manual therapist, I'm very keen on all the roll thing work. And so that name pops up quite a lot. And also, you know, we're in a time of just learning so much from somatic healing and somatic movement. So it's really lovely that you have kind of evolved your yoga into this method. So first of all, I think now you've educated us how to say the word, you can tell us all about it.
Well, when you say about somatics, it was around the same time as Thomas Somatic was making discoveries. Feldenkrais was, but he's like he's not lesser known. Well, he is. It's one of those things that never reached popularity like Pilates and the somatic yoga, but it is evolving more now, which is strange because I think it's needed. So basically it's about it's about becoming very, very aware. I mean, it's taken awareness to another level where you really get inside yourself and drop all of everything else, and it's so internal that then that becomes, for me, it becomes quite spiritual internally rather than something from the outside, because you are truly homing in and listening. And I had to do something like that because I'm prone to not listen to my body and my mind, really. And so it's a brilliant practice because it cuts everything out and it's down to me. So Moshe Feldenkrais, his teaching is there are no teachers, only students.
Nice.
So we're all learning.
Nice.
So yeah,
I think we've all got that built-in pattern, haven't we, to override our minds and our bodies, and I'm sure it's patriarchy's fault, as you speak. I think that's the fault of most things.
Through, push past it, get through, push past the pain, push through, and it'll be better the other side. If you push through it, it'll be better. But Feldenkrais teaches you to go around pain. So you know, it's there. You find another route, so it forms so it's habit breaking the bad habits and making new habits that serve the body better.
Amazing.
So, yeah, it changes your image of yourself, so it acknowledges that we have many layers that we put on, and they're all versions of ourselves, but it's recognizing those layers that serve us as opposed to the ones that we've placed on us that are uncomfortable. So we're finding complete comfort in ourselves so we can show up authentically.
Amazing. And I keep coming across this stuff lately about how, you know, how pain is, you know, with my kind of nervous system work and my fascia release stuff. And I know that you were keen to talk about pain as well, because it's a big thing, isn't it? And pain patterns. And what I keep coming up with is this kind of awareness. Like you said, once you develop an awareness, it's like you don't have to change anything. It changes itself just by shedding light. And that's what we do in meditation as well. It's like if you want to change something, you have to look at it, and then so you have to try not to change it in a way, but just accept it. This is like, you know, everything in life. If you want change, you have to first practice acceptance, and then change may or may not happen. Normally does happen. However, that's not what we're going for. And yeah, this amazing new research on pain is that actually sometimes simply awareness of pain can help pain management. So I think that's what you're looking at as well.
It forms neural pathways. So the work is so quiet. So basically you have to, when we're doing Feldenkrais, you have to do it with as little effort as possible. So if you can feel effort, you've gone too far. Okay, so that's like, wow. So even imagining doing the Feldenkrais is probably better than actually doing it, because it's doing exactly the same thing. So it's not about these big movements, it's not about shapes. It's and so a lot of the teaching of Feldenkrais is just verbally done, where you don't have to look at a teacher. It's all how you interpret what those words mean. So even like language is part of Feldenkrais as well. And when you see the students not interpreting as you want them to interpret, maybe, because there's not a correct way, there's no one getting it wrong, but you may think this might help you if you do it maybe a little bit more this way, or to maybe try less. Because like people move these big movements, you're going to, let's try and do less of that. So you have to it's like a conductor of an orchestra, and you're conducting all of the different instruments in your orchestra to make sure that they understand what you're trying to say. And if they don't understand, it's my words that are wrong, not them.
Amazing. And I've come across this like visualization technique. Obviously with Nidra we use visualization a lot, and it's used in athletes and musicians. This kind of very powerful training in visualization to kind of help boost performance levels, but also in our work in the nervous system and nervous system function. This kind of imagination, this visualization comes up a lot, that you can actually visualize a pain-free movement. So if there's movements, you know, say in a yoga class that aren't going to suit you, instead of doing them and pushing through, to actually visualize them in a pain-free way can actually be so powerful. So it's kind of like you're breaking the boundaries between like, you're taking yoga so far. I love it.
So my yoga will probably be people imagining doing it. So it takes accessible to a new dimension, because you just do it laying in bed and just pretending. You're not even pretending, you are doing it. So I did take a while to actually believe that, because I was a really, I don't know about this. And I had because you know I suffer with the body. I had a particularly painful week when I was practicing Feldenkrais, and so I was forced into not doing it. And and those were the most powerful lessons of me just laying there, because I was just thinking, oh, this is cheating, this isn't right, this can't be right, you know, and there's all of that internal stuff. But those lessons made me listen more, because it was really hard work. And the nervous system went, oh, she's not trying to hurt me. She's not trying to hurt me. Okay, we can just let go of some of that.
That's amazing. I mean, we use it a lot in accessible yoga and even in chair yoga as well, because, you know, if you're teaching chair yoga, you're moving towards a different demographic, and there'll be things that people definitely can't do. People who can't feel their legs can't stand up. But the visualization then becomes very powerful, and there's always a way to be able to do something in that case. Then it's like we're actually recognizing the power of the mind, which was the original point of the whole of it in the first place, but we kind of got lost in this kind of, you know, striving body fitness, you know, nonsense, and lost our way. So it's like now it's kind of coming back somehow to the original thing. Is like your mind is so powerful, but also, you know, something more than just meditation, because there is this somatic thing that your body is holding this stuff. So presumably, you know, when you're visualizing, I mean, how does that kind of connect? Sorry, I'm going off the off our list here, but I'm just loving. How does it work where you've got your physical body needing to kind of the issues in the tissues, all of that somatic stuff? If you were just able to visualize, does that release in the same way, or what would you say?
Exactly the same way. I mean, I did one, and actually, it's so powerful that it can release trauma as well, because it's stored in the body. So when you're doing, you know, I have a crybaby, but you know, I try not to work out what the tears are about. So you cry. So when you've done some like heavy shoulder work or something, doing a shoulder class, and half of it I can't do anyway because you're sliding a hand underneath the body, and you know, and it becomes, I found, you know, some of it quite frustrating. Then had to let go and just laid there and didn't do anything. And at the end of the class, I burst into tears. And then we're taught, don't question what that is about. Let's not, you know, we don't need to meddle in that. We just have to accept that that is a release of some kind. That, you know, it's just a release, because it's stored. It's all stored stuff, and some of those blockages, whether they're injuries or emotional trauma, it's stored in the body. And when you're forming a neural pathway around that stuff, or even, and then maybe sometimes you can go through it. Maybe the body will let you go through that, and that's when you get this powerful, it's explosive, really.
Amazing. And it's like that release as well, when you have kind of funny releases in the yoga nidra setting, or releases in yoga where, you know, people cry. Often we can get lost in that kind of trying to analyze, like, what was that all about? But it doesn't really matter. You can actually, you just have to think that some energy has been released and it's moving through you. So I just wanted to say, we've got a few people on here. So if anyone wants to ask Hayley a question, just type it into the comments and we can answer. And even if you're watching this on the IGTV later, you're in the future now. Welcome to the future. So you can also write a comment on here, tag Hayley, and we'll address your question. So thank you so much for the people who are joining us. I can't believe, Hayley, that I was writing, I wrote it wrong on every single story. I spelt the name wrong and was basically internally visualizing the name wrong. So that, you know, made my neural patterns wrong as well. Yeah. Anyway, that's a little aside. So how did you go on?
It's about becoming your best version of you.
Good.
So
that's perfect. That's all we need, isn't it? Yeah. And so how did you come across this method, and when was it that you decided that you really wanted to go deeper into it, would you say?
Well, you had meddlings in that without probably knowing. You said some very profound stuff to me in the teacher training, and they really, everything, I was like, you know, like a puppy absorbing it all. But I had an injury in our last week of our training in the UK, and it was about my own switched off state of mind, even in practicing yoga, that I wasn't listening to the body. It was just put myself in the shapes, going through it, understanding the teachings, but really not embodying it. And you said to me when I was obviously in pieces, you said, you may not be a traditional yoga teacher. You may find yourself going another path. And those words honed in, and I thought, well, maybe there is another path. Maybe it doesn't have to be this way. So I then decided to search for something, and after the training, because my body wasn't functioning as it should be, even for me to be comfortable in it, I had to go immediately into something else. So I did. It wasn't about sort of, oh, that's not enough, you know, got to get more. It was just like, I need to get home. And so I discovered something called freedom yoga first. Eric Schiffman. I think there's an amazing teacher, Eric Schiffman.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just found it really interesting. He was saying about be brave enough to trust yourself, to for the practice to become so embodied that you'll be guided through yourself. And I was thinking, oh, that's amazing. So it wasn't even about doing, you know, a warrior pose or a triangle. It was a movement as such, but being guided by your inner wisdom. So I was like, oh wow, I really like this. But since then, actually, because I mean, this is only a few years ago, even that freedom yoga has been stolen already by yoga studios and yoga industry wanting to call themselves that. But freedom yoga is a thing. It's something that was created by Eric.
Yeah. And in a way, that was supposed to be what all yoga movement is. It's about moving energy through the body. You know, we made it so complicated, and we just bundled it in with the fitness system, and
exactly,
you know, it's our way. All we need to do is move prana around the body, and you can do that in so many ways.
So I was just thinking, you know, this prescription that we've you know, you've got your vinyasa flow, you've got, you know, whatever we call it, and they're all lovely things, no judgment there, but it was just like, I don't want to be in this prescription, these recipes made by people, you know. I need to have the freedom. I need to have the freedom. So that was my first stop off, and then I found that maybe I can't trust myself yet because I was still getting good. So I was like, right, you can't, you know, you're not switched on to do this free movement because you're self-harming in a way. And so then I found Heart and Bones yoga, and her selling point was pain. You won't have pain anymore. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sold. That's it. I'm going to go do this. And then, so she was a different thing where it taught about some of the shapes may look a bit different within the practice of yoga. Maybe these shapes can look a bit different, and question, why are you making this shape? Yeah. So what is this shape doing for you? Is there maybe a kinder way to visit that shape? So
nice.
This is a good stop off. So I did all of that, and then, you know, that then took me to the Feldenkrais, because that was spoken about a lot within the training. And I just thought, you know what, I really need to know about this stuff. So it's a 4-year training, for Christ's sake. And then I really need to be able to properly help people with this toolbox, and to know that that I will be a good teacher because of my flaws.
And I think also, you know, this thing about teaching, I think the best yoga teachers are broken yoga teachers. And I think if you use that, you know, I'm a broken yoga teacher. I fell off a flipping mountain, for goodness sake. Yeah. And, you know, I'm broken in so many other ways as well. So I'm really lucky to be really broken. But I think, like, that's how you can help people. That's where your special, unique voice comes in. We don't need more teachers that just follow this prescription, like breathe in, do this, breathe out, do that, breathe in, put you like that. And it's beautiful and it's dancey. And, you know, I think the dance culture really kind of took hold of, you know, a lot of the vinyasa and the ashtanga. You know, and it's very attractive, and it's beautiful to move in harmony with other people. It is a beautiful thing to work, and you can still get that with respect to people's bodies, and you can still get that by, you know, slowing it down, sequencing nice and slowly, so that by the time everyone's working together, everyone's doing their own thing. But the point I was trying to make is that, you know, we use our broken bits to find our dharma, to find the way that we're gonna bring healing into the world. And that's exactly what you did. And actually, in the process of learning how to heal ourselves, we can share that, and equally in the process of trying to help the world, we help ourselves. And it's this kind of two-way thing. I don't think you have to, like, completely sort yourself out before you go into the field, but equally as well, if you don't do some of the work, you might be spiritually bypassing and all of that. So, but it's beautiful because it kind of brings this connection. It's like, I'm a broken person, just
Yeah.
offering this to a broken world.
Well, I'd say to my guys that come to the few things that I do offer is I'd say that I can't do this bit. You can take this bit, you know, because this bit isn't for me, but this may be nice for you. So there's so many things that, yeah, my body's stop. It just makes me think in a different way. I don't have to achieve, and I feel like now that my brokenness is a superpower.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it is.
yeah, and I am grateful. I'm grateful for my brokenness. It sounds a bit odd, but I'm
Not
grateful for that.
great. Oh, okay, let's have a look. So let me know, tell me about your yoga journey from the beginning. So we've gone from the TTC. So you did we went from TTC to Freedom Yoga to Hearts and Bones to this now. So when did you first discover that this kind of mind-body technique that we call yoga had a bit of magic in it for you?
I came to yoga because I was suffering with my mental health at the age of about 28. And my mental health was suffering because I was suffering from stress, like terrible stress that it was all my lacks in life, or that what I was lacking, and the panic around the lack and running out of time, and I should be this, and I should, and all of this pressure built up, and I exploded, and the panic attacks were debilitating. I think I wasn't very well for over a year. And then someone came to help me from the doctors, a mental health team, because I couldn't work, and it was I couldn't be in company because it would just be awful to have to remove myself from situations, because these sensations in the body, it was horrible. And I decided to go to a yoga class. I didn't even know what to expect. I went down the road to the YMCA because I was living in London at the time. Went to the YMCA, and I ended up in a room full of sort of woolly jumpers and baggy trousers. It's a bit patchouli, and you know, it was just
Perfect.
it was not how it is now. It was how it should be. But it was brilliant, and I was there on my own. I didn't go with any friends as support. So then it was was like, oh wow, what they doing? And they were doing like the wood chopper through the legs and all of that, you know. And I was like, oh my god! I was laughing. And, you know, I just thought, this is bizarre. You know, there's blow-offs in the room, and and I was like, this is mental. And I spoke to the teacher, and I said I was having trouble sleeping because at night time the panic would come in. And she gave me a tape cassette, and it was something called Yoga Nidra. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing. It was just sort of, I put it on at night time, and it was just brilliant. So, but before I knew it, I had healed myself through yoga and yoga nidra, and that set me off on the path. And what was really weird, I even went to the Shivananda Center in Putney.
Wow.
And I used to go there, and I blocked that out, and then I've come to you, and I've started studying Shivananda. So
I'm trying to block that out now as well.
I forget stuff. It's really funny. I think my life's been such a long time now that things get sort of, you know, just put into boxes, and and then suddenly I go, oh, I did that. So yeah, it's at Shivananda Center in Putney, and that was really hardcore. That was like, oh gosh, you know, they were all in their orange suits and stuff, and doing all of the chanting, and that was the first time I'd come across the chanting. I was like, you know, that was a real eye-opener. So and then from there I was, you know, in and out, and then bereavement kind of brought me back in a more spiritual way when I had to drop into the spirituality side of me, just to get me through loss. And yeah, that kind of saved me really again. And then I, you know, I ended up finding you, and then that's when the journey.
Amazing.
I didn't
Yeah,
expect.
and what do you think?
Teacher.
No, you didn't expect it. And I think that you met me in June, as I can remember, and you started the teacher training in September. Because I remember you were on retreat at Shanti Centre, and then the next thing I knew is like, we're booking on. We're all booking on.
Everyone's coming. But it was just that retreat blew my mind. I mean, it was incredible. And I didn't know I needed it. I came along. Emma, my sister-in-law, brought me along, and I was just like, you know, coming along, and it took me to another realm. It was so profound, and it took me weeks to recover. When I came back to normality, came back into the real world, I was like, what happened? And I couldn't, you know, I was just speechless. I was speechless for a good week when people would say, how did that happen? I was like,
wow.
Yeah. So
I wish I could go on a retreat like that.
yeah, it was just amazing. I was speechless because it was I don't know. It was just brilliant. I can't even tell you why, what, I think everything about
Probably
it.
just one moment. It was just the right time and the right place. And it's like sometimes we have these seeds in us, and it's just like someone or something comes along and just waters it right at the right time. And it's just like you've been dormant. It's been latent in you, and then it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's
I'm happy to be the catalyst for that journey.
Well, that's
one
what
of them.
I do is I box things up, and I put, you know, I'm putting stuff away, and then it does need opening up, and that's what you did. And so then coming on the teacher training took me into a very strong. Oh, what are the words? I haven't got the word. It was incredible. It was incredible because there were so many moments of oh and it was like I was meeting myself for the first time, really, you know, just remembering who I actually was and not being ashamed of oh God, you know, like the constant, I mean, I've said it to you this morning about you know, looking for the parent all the time, and looking for approval from other humans, and really, what is that about? And you know, and having to not look at that, go, oh my God, you sad cow, looking at, you know, just having a bit of love for myself and thinking, oh, bless you for looking for a mummy and daddy, you know, and looking for approval. That's fine, because you're just the constant need for being told I was a good girl. Then that goes back to stuff, and so to realise those things of what, you know, the triggers, how people trigger you, and why those triggers are happening.
And so many bits of conditioning, you know, that we've picked up. I think that's the main thing that comes through from the course, is that, you know, these patterns of belief that we hold, you know, the conditioned beliefs, and like once you start looking at them, you can't really live the same way ever again.
No.
You know, because you're wise to it. It's like, I know what I'm doing, and I know, and also the kind of compassion that is needed to be able to hold space for yourself is the kind of compassion that you're going to need to work in the world as well, and to kind of interact in the world, because everyone's, you know, conditioned.
Yeah, so much processing, and that's why I definitely wouldn't be able to do one of these intense trainings where it's, you know, they do it in a couple of weeks. I mean, that would have been impossible. to all of the peeling back of stuff had to happen over, you know, slowly, picky, you know. It was just
it's nice to have all these months to process, isn't it, with the chakra system as well. One, you know, it's quite a huge thing, so I deliberately make it 7 months so that it is this journey of it's journey to yourself, basically. And often what I find is, like, people don't realise until a couple of years later, I see people blossoming. you know, and even sometimes after the course, nothing much is going on. It's like nothing's happened maybe. And often people get thrown into crisis as well after a TTC because, you know, you think you're enlightened, or you think you've got it, and then it's like real life comes back. You haven't got the course. You know, that was very much true for myself. You know, I had a real kind of I was so high at the end of my teacher training, and I thought I was unbreakable, and it's just like, no. And that happens for a lot of people. And then, you know, it's really interesting watching the journey. And a couple of years later, people are really, it takes time. It takes time for these things. They go very deep.
I'm still processing it. See, that's the thing, is that, and now I'm at Feldenkrais with taking the awareness to another level. I'm still processing your stuff through Feldenkrais.
Yeah,
makes any sense. So
yeah,
there was something, we were having it was a book meeting, and there was just someone there, and I just felt a little bit, I felt this sort of vulnerability, you know, coming back in, me telling stories about what that person is thinking of me, and I had to say, hang on. You're pretty great, hey, you know, this is fine, you know, you're fine, you're a good girl.
This is your pattern.
This is the pattern, and this, you're making this up. You know, and this person, if she does feel these things to you, then that's her stuff.
Yeah.
And it was really quite nice to actually, I feel I'm holding myself steady, and that I can recognize when these insecure feelings come of me needing the nurture, that I maybe don't need nurturing because I am my own parent. I'm parenting myself finally. And that's when I had to have a word with myself when I said to you before this, an old pattern is hard to drop. It is.
And I think, you know, and I think also what I say to a lot of my students is as well, like, it might never go away. It's not like, you know, self-sabotage, for example. It's like, don't be like, oh God, I'm doing that again. I can't believe it. I thought that I'd done all this yoga and, you know, all these other methods. It's like, it's still going to turn up, but it's like, oh, that's what I do. I remember.
That was it. But I felt at that point quite powerful. And I just thought, no, you're, and a few people have said to me, because I am very, I've decided, you know, that, I am like, this is me, here we go, you know, and sometimes it's quite big. And I just thought, no, you've got to stand in that and be proud of it and own it, because that is your superpower, and it is that is you. And don't feel shame from it, because the shame has come from myself. It's not from other people, you know, it's from me and all of my stuff going on. So yeah, I feel powerful, but it is still your teachings coming into Feldenkrais. So then I can go, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah. You just gotta get another layer. Like, I think it's like the seeds. You just get, or it just takes, I don't know, it's like learning spiraling. So it's just like you'll get it, and some of it will go in, and then, you know, you'll spiral around, and you'll hear the same teaching but from a different lens, and something else will go in, and then you'll spiral around, and then, you know, and you never really know how much people are getting when you're the teacher. But, you know, there's different levels of meaning. It's like, you know, with something as scientific and, you know, kind of medicalized as learning anatomy, you know, you can learn the same chunk of anatomy over and over again. And it doesn't matter that you're learning the same thing over and over again, because every time you revisit it, you'll understand it. It will sink in on a deeper and deeper and deeper level. And so there's just kind of, you know, I think all of this stuff is helping us, you know, just grasp the teachings. And I think the most important thing is just to keep working and to keep learning, and, you know, and then translating that into your work. You know, if you've chosen a career in, you know, yoga teaching or body therapy or healing in the most general sense, it's like, it is a life's work. And it's like, you just have to keep kind of grasping it for yourself and using your experiences to then translate it back. So let me ask you, what was the best part of the TTC, apart from the teacher? Or...
The teacher, she's amazing, amazing. The best part was, well, for me, was the unveiling of all of the layers, and so yeah, traveling through the chakras, and also watching everyone else evolve in that. I loved going to the final part in Italy because that was intense. The philosophy with Leela. I mean, there's so much. You could not possibly say that there was one favourite thing because it all intermingles with each other, and that I don't know. It all feels like a bit of a gift, and that's why I keep circling back to you. I go off and I do some other things, and I go, "Oh, Steph, I'm here again." Yeah. And you know, and that's what I keep coming back for a bit more. But yeah, I loved the chakras was a brilliant thing because learning about yourself in the spirituality side of things and understanding these things that are actually quite scientific as well, not just something in our imaginations. It's a real thing, and actually just be sent off on our journey each time. Like, right now we're on the route, and we'd go and do, you know, all of this, the route work. We go and hug trees, and we'd journal about it, do our altar thing. And just those, you know, even having the altar exercise each month, that felt very special, very sacred as well. And it was really, you know, I'd be getting up early in the morning just to get in. It felt very quiet and peaceful time, really, and self-indulgence on another level, really, where I had the space to, thank you to my family for enabling me space to do that.
Nice.
Bonkers mum. Here she goes again.
Here she goes again.
Singing to the sheep.
So what do you think your most unexpected, what was the most unexpected thing about the TTC, do you think? And also, what would you say to someone who's thinking of doing TTC? Two questions then.
My most unexpected thing was the discovery of the versions of myself that I didn't realise I had. I always thought, oh, you know, I know who I am, and I actually didn't know who I was really, and sort of chipping away at that, realising there was this other person underneath it all, and under the layers, and the true self of this, I don't know, forgotten person. I don't know. I think something I'd buried, and it was the unburying of that. Something quite nice. Yeah.
Unveiling your true nature. That is yoga. Unveiling your true nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Owning, and even owning the less nice bits, the bits that embarrass me, maybe those bits, and you know, and learning to drop those because they don't make you feel good. You know, the version of you that when you're uncomfortable in that version is usually not the version that you should stick with. There's something softer maybe that's easier, just the easy route. But then, like I said to you, I'm still processing it. And 2-3 years later, it's not been processed yet. And so that's why I want to keep coming back. I want to come back.
I think I'm still processing my TTC actually, which was 21 years ago. I think I'm still circling back.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would you say to someone, because we need to wrap it up, but what would you say?
Yeah, well, I'd just say that you know, make space for yourself. You know, it's not an easy journey, and it is. It was hard work, but it was very rewarding. It's a very rewarding journey if you can make the space, and you do have to be kind to yourself and give yourself the space. It's not like you can just go and do a bit of swatting and around. It is like you go and visit, and then you are working the whole month on yourself or on the practice. And so you just have to make sure that if you're committing to the teacher training, to make sure that you clear the way so that you can listen.
Great advice. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
One of our many people.
Now you know all about Feldenkrais.
I do. I even know how to say his name and to spell it properly as well. I think it's amazing. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. I'm going to end the live, and I'll see you soon. Bye.